10 News begins with breaking news.
That breaking news, a handcuffed suspect making a run for it in the streets of downtown. Good evening, I'm Vanessa Van Hefty. 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo live along the San Diego Bay, where that man actually tried to escape into the water behind you.
Yeah, and it happened just feet away from the USS Midway and from that restaurant that you see right there. Now, people having lunch on that dock say they saw the man swimming below them, trying to get away in those handcuffs. Now, I want to show you some cell phone video that was taken from witnesses. You can see police standing near the water, trying to get to the suspect. Officers used a police boat and eventually got the man out of the water. Police say the 42-year-old escaped from the downtown San Diego police station while he was being processed at about 1:15 this afternoon. He was wanted for domestic violence. Witnesses say the man was trying to swim away.
We were just looking down. He was handcuffed and he was swimming under the dock, and more and more police showed up. The K9 unit showed up, the boat showed up, and they were just like closing in on him.
The man was on the run for about an hour before police were able to take him back into custody. It's still unclear how he made it out of the police station. Reporting live in downtown, Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
And more breaking news to our north. Firefighters are battling a fast-moving brush fire burning dangerously close to homes in Laverne. That's about 30 miles east of LA. At last check, the fire was only about 10 acres. Crews are using bulldozers and helicopters to stop the spread. We will keep an eye on this. We'll stay on top of it and bring you the latest details as we get them. Now to a 10 News exclusive. The man at the center of a viral video involving a police dog takedown is talking only to 10 News. The K9 bit the Navy veteran during his arrest in downtown earlier this month. 10 News military reporter Hannah Mullins is live at the downtown jail with a surprising comment that he made.
He said the dog was justified and bited him in the arm. And I have to tell you, we talked to him inside that jail just a couple hours ago. He said he still plans to sue. The bite marks on Corone Cheatham's arm reveal a brutal takedown. He says it all started when he got in a fight with his girlfriend and snapped. When they say you attacked a cab driver and you tried to steal a motorcycle, is that true? Police say he threatened an officer and kept getting closer despite commands to stop, so the cop unleashed the dog. Could the cop have shot you then? He says it's how long the dog clamped down that was excessive force. Police say the officer and dog did everything right. They say instead of verbal commands, which could have led to more biting, the officer used the bite and hold technique to get the dog to stop.
The video clearly shows the technique is being applied immediately once the suspect's been put into handcuffs. The officer's trying to get that technique to work properly. Sometimes it happens immediately and sometimes it might take a little bit of delay.
He says he wishes the officer would have tried to talk him down first and asked him if he was okay. We're live downtown. Hannah Mullins, 10 News.
All right, Hannah, thank you. A developing story now. Detectives are still trying to figure out who killed a missing grandmother inside her office. Maria Kelly's family says they hadn't heard from her since Wednesday. Family members found her body inside her Mission Valley office Saturday. The medical examiner says she died from a gunshot wound, but hours later, police discovered her daughter's body in a nearby building. Investigators think that she may have killed herself. Officials say the daughter is not a suspect in Kelly's murder. 2 people are dead after 2 unrelated crashes overnight. The first was around 1:30 this morning on Valley Center Road, right by the Rincon Fire Station. Then at 4:30 this morning, Highway Patrol says a motorcyclist crashed into a pole in El Cajon. This was near La Cresta Road and Greenfield Drive in an unincorporated area. Neither of the victims have been identified tonight. A 24-hour shark advisory for several San Diego beaches expired today. Lifeguards put up warning signs at Coronado's Silver Strand Beach after a surfer saw a shark there yesterday morning. The beach stayed open, but swimmers were warned to go in the water at their own risk. The other shark was spotted swimming near San Onofre. And taking a live look outside there, a little bit of a haze. 10 News Pinpoint weather anchor Jennifer De La Cruz tracking the heat and the humidity.
Yeah, the heat and the humidity is only going to get worse, especially starting tomorrow. We do have some showers and thunderstorms moving in for parts of the county. So today was a good day to go outside and enjoy it. We saw mostly sunny skies for the most part in San Diego County, especially for you out in Del Mar if you're heading to the races. Beautiful shot there. They've got about one more hour of racing tonight. And if you are heading onto the coast, be mindful of a beach hazard statement that is in place through tonight. Minor tidal overflow possible for some of our low-lying coastal areas. That's taking place at 9:45 tonight. Your current temperature is 74 degrees in San Diego, 81 in El Cajon, 89 in Alpine, and 85 in Poway. As we head further into the evening hours, we will be cooling down, and we're going to see some cloud cover start to move in. We'll be at 72 degrees by 8 o'clock tonight on the coast, but it's going to be more humid tomorrow. We have storms moving in. I'll show you where coming up in your 7-day forecast.
All right, Jen, and we do have some new details on the brush fire burning in the far northeastern part of the county. CAL FIRE says the lost fire is at about 255 acres right now, about 4 miles north of Warner Springs. It's now just 40% contained. 400 firefighters are working on knocking that out. They are battling steep terrain out there. You can see how rugged it is. Very difficult to access that, and of course these high temperatures as well. Crews have closed Lost Valley Road in the area, and they have also evacuated a nearby campground only as a precaution. No homes are in danger at this time. We'll keep an eye on it. A human smuggling operation uncovered in Texas. 9 people are dead and dozens more hospitalized after they were found in the back of a sweltering tractor trailer. The semi was parked at a San Antonio Walmart there. Early this morning, a store employee called police after a disoriented man approached him asking for water. Police found a total of 38 people stacked inside that truck, including children.
The air conditioning was not working, so everyone was removed.
Surveillance video shows cars arriving and picking up people from that truck. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, along with Homeland Security, are now involved in that investigation. The truck driver is in custody. The Russia investigation is expected to headline a very busy week in Washington. ABC's David Wright reports the president's son-in-law is due to talk to lawmakers this week. At the same time, Congress is considering beefing up sanctions.
President Trump's new communications team out in force. The new White House press secretary.
There's a ton of focus on what I like to call Russia fever.
And the new communications director.
The Russian situation is completely overblown.
Forced to take on the issue plaguing the White House, Russia.
I'm confident that tomorrow when Jared Kushner speaks, and I'll keep my fingers crossed in saying this to you, it'll probably be the last time that he has to talk about Russia.
The president's son-in-law heads to Capitol Hill this week for interviews about the Russia probe behind closed doors with the Senate and House Intelligence Committees. Congress is not making it easy on the administration when it comes to Russia. The House and Senate have agreed that any effort to ease sanctions on Russia must be approved by them, a provision the Trump administration lobbied hard against.
Will the president sign that bill?
Look, the administration is supportive of being tough on Russia. We support where the legislation is now.
But the Senate has a veto-proof majority anyway. The Senate is also expected to vote this week on health care reform. The margin there, much smaller.
I think that this, the Trump care will not pass. It just is.
You think
rotten.
it's dead?
I think it's very unlikely to pass because it's rotten to the core.
Finally, the issue of pardons is also in the news, in part because this weekend the president asserted his constitutional right to pardon in a tweet.
And the reason he doesn't need to pardon himself is that he hasn't done anything wrong.
Pardons have not been discussed, and pardons are not on the table.
Some legal scholars have suggested that the Constitution is unclear on whether the president can pardon himself, and some have suggested that if he did so, it would provoke a constitutional crisis. David Wright, ABC News, the White House.
New today, a neighbor's request for a cup of salt turns into a violent hostage situation. 99-year-old Lewis and his wife Irene welcomed their neighbor's son into their Florida home. That's when Leonard Benitez threatened them with a gun and a knife. He demanded $50,000 and their banking information. Irene managed to call 911 and escape.
I'm not a gun person. I've never been around guns. And to sit there, if somebody points a gun.
Very traumatic for her and her husband. Benitez hit Lewis in the head with the gun and held him hostage for 2 hours before finally surrendering. He was arrested on multiple charges, including false imprisonment of an adult. This year's Comic-Con is coming to an end. San Diego was the place to be for fans of movies, TV, and video games. Over the past few days, thousands of people were at the convention center, decked out in those elaborate costumes. Today included a tribute to the late Star Wars actress Carrie Fisher. There were panels on various shows like Supernatural and Doctor Who. 10 News caught up with funny guy Seth Rogen, who was previewing his new Hulu show, Future Man.
But this show, specifically, I think, more than almost anything I've done, will really speak to people who are at Comic-Con.
Stars from the Justice League movie and the Netflix show Stranger Things were just some of the big names, the big attractions that hosted panels during the convention. The world's oldest manatee in captivity has died. Snooty just celebrated his 69th birthday on Friday at the South Florida Museum. Officials say the manatee apparently drowned after being trapped by an underwater hatch door that was knocked loose. An investigation has been launched into his death. Snooty was born in captivity. He has been at the museum since the 1940s. Cut off after just one drink. The two things one bar is looking for that will limit to that one drink rule during your meal. Plus, helping homeless veterans in San Diego, what motivates some of the thousands of volunteers working through the weekend to make life a little better for those in need.
Humidity is going up and thunderstorms are moving in. I'm tracking when we'll start drying out coming up in your 7-day forecast.